You can see me. So wait just 1 second. There you go. As you can tell, I'm not in my place. So I just got off an 8-hour drive. So if I look a bit tired, you know what it is. I was driving since 6:30 in the morning and just up until a few hours ago. But I just had time to come in and set up a little bit and get the stream going. So I hope all is well with you. Thank you for being here. I know it's December 26th, so you must be somewhere, right, with your families or playing your guitar at your studio. I will be able to see the chat, so I just might need to, because I'm streaming from my phone. As you can tell, I'm not at my usual setup. But so yeah, I still have my guitar. So if you have any questions about guitar, feel free to ask. But I hope you had a great Christmas and you had fun and you got a lot of cool stuff. So if you want to share what you got, Carlos, Merry Christmas to you too. All the best for 2021. Yes, same to you. I assume there won't be too many of you today. I'm sure you have plenty of stuff to do. But if you are here, thanks very much. It's good to see you again, although virtually. I am talking about doing stuff next year, as soon as possible, to come out and play live. So maybe I will see you around the world. Hello, that is Art. Happy holidays to you too. So please, first let me know what you got for Christmas, right? If you got a lot of cool stuff or not. Second, I hope you can hear me well and see me well. I turn everything off, but the connection here is not as good as at my studio. Let me move this just a little bit more. And so I hope it doesn't cut off. I've really been trying to do my best, but we're somewhere else, of course, and their connection is not as great, but we're doing what we can. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about this past year very quickly, and then of course get your views on it and share your experiences if you want. Or as I said, I got my guitar, and so if you have any questions, last chance for this year to ask me any questions about guitar and music, and I'll help you out if I can. And so let's see what you guys are talking about. You have lots to do there, but guitar is part of it these holidays. Oh yes, always play the guitar. But so this year for a lot of people has been hard, and I understand that if your family or you have been sick, some people lost people, so that's, health and that kind of stuff, that's first. But assuming you've been healthy, I found this year to be quite a revelation. I had a lot of time to do stuff that I never could do a lot of, but the main thing for me has been being able to spend a lot of time with my family, immediate family. My family is kind of scattered around the world, but my own household, it's really cool because maybe we're the first generation in a long time that can spend almost 6 months with our own kids and with our own significant others, if you have children, if you don't, whatever it is, but you were able to spend a lot more time with people you care about, where sometimes school and work just simply doesn't allow for it. So to me that was one of the best things ever, and I wouldn't say that I don't want the virus to go away, of course I do, but it was one of those things that I'm kind of grateful for, because we've been healthy. We had a couple of scares in the family or immediate, friends, but everything turned out okay, and it's been great being able to do that. So that was my first thing, and so assuming your family is okay, maybe you've had the chance to, spend time with people who otherwise you wouldn't have. And also work for me has been great. I most of the time I'm just writing music and recording it, so it's not like it's a big change. And the music school that I run, I have a music academy in Barcelona, and that's gone great. We had some great students, and a lot of most of them, actually almost all of them, were more than okay doing stuff online. And so we did a lot of that, Skype, Zoom and all that stuff. And a lot of them actually liked it even better. They're like, well, now I don't have to take my car, because I have some students that come from far away, so they, maybe they drive an hour or so, and they're so happy that they can do it from home. And so that's been great too. And I know a lot of people, like our neighbors, sometimes they have a little bar or something, and so they had a hard time, and some gyms, and that's been tough on people. But in my specific case, that's also been great, and we learn new ways of teaching stuff and new ways of keeping that inspiration alive for a lot of students, which is the most important thing. Much more important than what you teach them, is making them understand that they're in control of their own musical adventure and future, And so to me, that's always been the most important thing. And I could do that very well with this, excuse me, with this virus thing, because they were kind of forced to face it themselves. They were sitting there at home going, what am I going to do with my time? And so that was great. That was one of the cool things that I noticed, is that people now, they're at home and assuming they're safe and healthy, they really felt bad wasting time. I don't know if maybe they were thinking, wow, this might be, I don't know how long I have left. What if I get the virus tomorrow? But I think they kind of awoke to the fact that, you're not here forever, so you might as well find what it is you love and go for it and do it. So that was another great thing. And I'm seeing your comments. I'm going to go through them really quick. I'm going to finish, my little thing really quick, and then I will talk about all your stuff, because then we can keep it ordered. I can put little chapters on the video. And the other thing was that I really liked was that I could do things that sometimes I just don't have the time to schedule. So for example, every morning for the last year, I've been playing the piano for 2 or 3 hours. And that's something I started doing after the summer last year, but really at the end of this year, I said, okay, next year I'm going to learn how to play the piano. And so I really dedicated myself to it. And the virus thing really helped, because I could schedule every morning the same thing. I didn't have to, well, we have a show tomorrow, so we have to rehearse, or next week, and we have to rehearse 3 days in a row, or, oh, could you just come to the studio and do this and do that? Because everybody was closed. So I've been able to just sit there at the piano every day for 2 or 3 hours. And, I'm far from a master and far from showing you anything, but, I could finish all my Beethoven, the couple sonatas that I learned, and memorize a bunch of stuff that usually would take a long time, because I couldn't be consistent with it. Sometimes you have to be extremely consistent, and it's not that easy. So the piano thing was great. And as a matter of fact, I don't have it here with me now, and I'm kind of worried that I'm freaking out. I'm like, it took me a year to memorize both sonatas, and I'll forget them in 3 days or 2 days that I'm here, because we're driving again tomorrow or the day after. And so that was another thing. And but the most important thing that I wanted to share is, of course, the resuscitation of this channel. And it's been really great. I was thinking about it for a long time. I was thinking that it was a bit of a shame that after the encyclopedia, that it was such a big project for me and really dear to me. And if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on the channel. It's a whole guitar encyclopedia and music encyclopedia that I did. It was more than 10 hours of videos, really specific. It's really like a method. Whereas we here are kind of like talking about stuff that comes up. Maybe 1 week I go, okay, I'm going to talk about whatever, secondary dominant, and I'll make a video. The encyclopedia really goes from beginning to end. And a lot of people have found it extremely useful. I did it for people who couldn't afford teaching. I mean, learning from a teacher. So I get a lot of letters from I get a lot of emails from Asia and from Africa and from South America. But not only, but a lot from there where people can't really afford to get a teacher. And sometimes even from, richer countries where a lot of families that can't afford to pay the regular tuition for a teacher. So, and that was a great thing. And it was a bit of a shame to let the channel die. And so once the pandemic hit, I thought, I'm going to try to revive it. And, it took me a few trials, but then I think now we're at number 28 of these Music Live things. And I think, it's maybe this is the format that we'll keep. And so I look forward to doing more of this in 2021 if you're there and if you want to see it. And what else? Well, the other thing is that I could start work on the new record, which this has nothing to do with the pandemic. Probably was going to do it already, but it's far in the future, maybe next year. But I'm really focusing on finishing all the songs, because I have as a matter of fact, I have 1,000 voice memos on this phone, and I can't show you because I'm talking into it. But I got 1,000 voice memos that I have to go through by the end of the year. I do it every year. Every year I go through all my voice notes. But the problem is now I have another 200 in my piano because I recorded them on a USB thing. So this year is going to take a while. But anyway, I'm really working on the songs. I finished a few of them. And then as soon as these demos are done, then I'm ready to go into the studio. So I don't know if next year, but this is something I'm really happy about this year, that I could just take that step in going like, okay, I'm making a new record. You know, it's a big investment, not only money-wise, but time-wise and effort and, you know, mind. It takes a lot out of you, you know, to make a record. So that was decided this year. So I'm pretty happy that I'm doing it. Let's see, is this off? Okay, I don't want to turn anything on because I don't want you guys to lose connection. I hope you can hear me all right. And what else? This year, what did this year bring? Oh yes, the book, right? My first book on alternate picking. That's another thing that I really wanted to do for a long time. And I figured, you know, if I'm not doing it now, when? And so I'm doing it, and by the end of this year, I'm trying to finish all the text and the exercises for the second book, which I'm going to tell you is going to be about legato. Okay, it's gotten a bit out of hand. It's gotten a bit big, so I'm not sure when it will come out, because I'll have to then review all of it, put it in the right order, which sometimes, you know, when you go like, oh, I have 1,000 ideas, and then you have to, you know, put it in a way that's presentable. And then I'll have to record all the audio. So, you know, it's going to take a while, but it should be out pretty soon. I think, you know, early 2021, you'll get another book if you want it. And that's it. But the most thing, you know, the most important thing, the thing I want to thank you for is this channel and being able to do this and growing the family here. And it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing a lot more. So that was my 2020. I hope it was a bit more optimistic than all the, oh, I hope it's over soon. Of course we do hope it's over soon, and the vaccine and all that. But, you know, there's been a lot of opportunity for a lot of people to discover new things and to explore. So now I'm going to turn it to you, and so you can tell me what you liked about this year, what you didn't like, if you want to share. And, you know, we'll talk about 2021 next time. Next week I'll be here again, so we won't miss any of the weeks. And maybe we'll focus a bit more on what's coming on 2021 and maybe make a bit of a plan for these videos, you know, things you want me to cover, questions you might have, insecurities you might have when, you know, when you perform or when you practice and all that kind of stuff, you know. And sometimes I'm learning new things as well when I'm doing these videos, because I'm thinking about this stuff just to give you the best possible material and discover new things. So let me see the chat. All right. Hey, Jenny. I hadn't seen you. Okay, so that is art. You got some paper and pencils? All right. Yeah, look. This year, 2021, I'm going to start painting more. I suck. I really suck, but I really want to get into it more. I do a lot of it, but not enough. So 2021, I'm going back to this. I had to stop for a month maybe. Just the music got so intense, you know, with writing music. But you know, here and there I've been doing it. But to me, anything that I don't do like 3 hours a day, I feel bad about, you know, that I'm lazy. But that is cool. And so 2020 is a challenge for many. We'll continue as well. Must work as a team best we can for sure. Yes, of course, people will get together, you know, and things will be easier. Although for some of us, you know, if you do the stuff that I do, it's like a lot of time you spend by yourself. But I found also that I find it very rewarding to help people out. You know, some people have a hard time sometimes financially. Sometimes they have trouble just with simple things. You know, go buy somebody's groceries maybe one day, so they don't have to go out. Maybe they're older. You know, they'll be weaker. Maybe they're some old lady who lives by herself, and you can go out and get some food for her. Maybe ask what they want. You know, there's many things we can do, and they will make you feel so much better about it. And so that's another thing that I've been trying to work on. You know, we're all work in progress. Painting, I think, will be a nice break every now and then, of course. And then Jenny, you got a silver bracelet and earrings from Bali. Wow, still looking for an electric guitar myself. We'll grab one when I find the right one. Oh yes, yes. You know, if you ask a question here, 1,000 people will give you 1,000 different perfect guitars for you. So, and then you also got some new guitar picks. One strange one that has a rubber on the part you hold and plastic on the end. Oh man, I never got into the strange picks. You know, I always find it so difficult just to play with one. You know, like just don't change anything. I don't want to change strings. I don't want to change gauge. I don't want to change guitar. I don't want to change anything. You know, just a lot of amps. I really love amps, and no, and guitars too. But other than that, cables, I could care less. But you are right. I should probably explore. So you got a strange pick. and then painting will be a nice break. Oh yes, painting is great. I defiantly progressed. Oh, you definitely progressed in the studio this year. Got things done that I wouldn't have done in normal. Yeah, you see that happens to a lot of us, you know. And as I said, health first, right? Health and family. But as long as that's covered, then I think it's been a very inspiring year in a way, you know. There are many lessons and people painting, drawing on YouTube. Yes, I should probably watch those. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, today is just, as I said, after an 8-hour drive, I didn't want to prepare anything because I thought I would probably do a pretty shitty job at it. And so, you know, feel free to discuss it in the chat room. I'll read all your comments if you have any questions. If you have any ideas for future stuff, you know, and then next week I'll be here at same time and we'll do something. If I'm in the studio, I might teach you something. Otherwise, we'll talk about, well, I'll be at the studio, but you know what I mean. Maybe we'll talk about 2021, a few ideas, maybe I'll give you a few licks. And by the way, while we're waiting, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. If you're new, don't forget, every Saturday, 6:30 p.m., we go live for usually music lessons. And sometimes, once in a long time, we have a video like this, but mainly due to circumstance. So usually I teach a few things and then we open up for questions. And so yeah, if you haven't subscribed, you know, please do. And yeah, and if you haven't checked out the book on alternate picking, there's a link below. And what else? And if you want to contribute to these videos, you don't have to. It's enough that you're here willing to learn. But if you do want to, maybe, you know, sometimes you might think, well, this has been really helpful. And in that case, there's a little link to donate below if you want to, and it just helps keep everything going. And you know, there's a new website coming and all that, so you know, it will keep things make things easier for me to keep doing this. But otherwise, just be here, have fun, listen to, you know, me babbling, and maybe learn something. And that's it, really. What else? So every Saturday, 6:30 p.m., join us, Central European time. But if you subscribe and hit the bell, you'll get notified like a half hour before. And yeah, so, you know, there's not much to say today. Did I show you this guitar? This is a shitty Harley Benton. It is pretty bad, but it was like 80 euros or something. And I use it when I travel because I have guitars at different houses. It's not like I have a lot of houses, but you know, when you travel and see family. So I have 2 or 3 guitars that are really cheap, and I keep them in different countries. And then when I travel, I don't have to carry my guitar with me. And you know, it's been the best thing I've ever done. I don't travel with a guitar. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to beg, please let me carry with me on the plane. And you know, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's a good idea. You know, this is 80 bucks. And shipping was free because I bought some really cool pickups for my 335 that I switched. And so I just left it here. And it's pretty bad. Did I play it for you once? I think I played a little something for you from here. What was it? Did I play Rain? I think I played Rain for you, right, with this one? So if you can play Rain with this one, then it's good enough, right? And so that's something to look at and look into if you travel a lot and you don't want to carry your guitar back and forth. It's probably cheaper to just get one of these. And in my at my parents' house, I have a Squire Stratocaster, great neck. I love the guitar, and it's about 100 euros. Watch Jim Carrey. I saw that Need Color YouTube video. Yeah, no, I seen that video. Wait, what did I do? Here. Yeah, I saw that video. It's great. Yeah. I just like seeing colors everywhere. And Jim, yes, it is a good idea. So if you travel a lot, you might look into it. Jenny, I spend so much time by myself. Oops. I have found it to be very instrumental in developing my skills. Instrumental, right? No pun intended. I also taught myself to trade stocks on the ES stock exchange. Is that it? I trade for a couple hours and practice guitar. Wow, that sounds like a cool life. You know, yeah, I wouldn't know where to start with that, but great. It's not called 6 minutes. No, I know what you mean. The Jim Carrey video where he's at his studio, right? And he has like a thousand pots of paint. Yeah, that was really cool. I saw that. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube actually. That's like really, for some people, really boring. I watch documentaries on the Met, or MoMA or the Uffizi Gallery. I really like a lot of the strange things. I watched because we're here in a very informal, relaxed chat today. I saw a video just a few days ago about. It was from the BBC, right? And this guy called Adrian Chiles or something like that. So it's like, do we have a drinking problem or something? And so he's one of those people who say, well, everybody else is an alcoholic, but I'm not, because I don't have to drink if I don't want to. And it's half funny and half pretty sad. And so it's 1 week in this guy's life, and the first 20 minutes he's drunk more than he was supposed to drink for the whole week, according to the doctors. And it's really cool. I don't drink, but it's it is. Sometimes I watch that kind of stuff. I should probably watch more guitar videos, but I don't. You used to paint mandalas. You want to do more of that this next year? All right, cool. I will take my guitar and computer and travel when this pandemic's over. Looking forward to seeing the world. Maybe I'll play guitar in the street corner. Yes. Well, maybe we'll play guitar in the street corner in my city. Then I will certainly join you for a jam. All right, I hope you're not hearing any noises. It's really cold outside, but it's really hot in here, so I had to open the window. But can you see everything all right? The video quality? Cool. So yeah, what else do I watch on YouTube? I watch a lot of. I find some really cool. Some really cool documentaries on stuff that even Freddie Mercury is my hero. Is even more than Jimi Hendrix and everybody else. But Freddie Mercury and Queen changed my life forever. And when he died is the seminal point. Some people have this turning point in their life. And to me, it was the day when Freddie died, and I learned about it. It was like at the same time my world was over, and at the same time I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And so what was I going with this? Yes, so on YouTube I often find stuff, and I know everything about Queen and Freddie Mercury, but I still find new stuff, new interviews and new documentaries. So I do waste a lot of time with that, and Zeppelin and Sabbath and classical music. Everything that I really love about music, you always find more than you were hoping for on YouTube. Otherwise, I waste my time watching videos on drunk people. Do you know of any travel guitar that fits in a suitcase? When traveling, I'm removing the neck, so the whole guitar. Oh man, that's not a good idea. Yes. No, you shouldn't quit playing when you travel, but you shouldn't probably take your guitar apart every time you travel. There's one that's called the Traveler, and it is actually really small. And I took it to New York. Man, I wish I could share pictures. I don't have, of course, the streaming software. But I play guitar on a flight to New York just a couple of years ago, and I was lent the guitar because I have my Steinberger, but that doesn't fit in a case. But they will let you carry it on with you. Usually, that's 99% of the time. There's no problem with it. I put it in a little carry-on bag, and it's maybe this much longer than the diagonal you're supposed to carry. Usually, I carry that. It's a bit heavy. But it's one called the Traveler, and they tune here. So the neck doesn't have a headstock, and it tunes. The tuners are here next to the. So you see, there's no headstock, right? And then here are the tuners, and it works really well. And I played guitar for 3 hours on the flight to New York, and everybody was like, "Man, what's this guy doing?" I had my headphones on and I played for 3 hours. So I think it's called Traveler Guitar, but from the description I gave you, you'll be able to find it. So quality is great. All right, great, cool. That would be cool. Salvador Dali's house is very close. Yes, so if I see a Jenny Trickett playing on the street, I know it's you. How do you rate Brian May? Well, I rate everybody in Queen as my favorite of everything, right? When I'm not thinking about it, because then of course nobody's better than anyone. Brian May is certainly my most if I were to say name one guitarist, I would say Brian May, but as an influence, probably not, because it's so specific. And so it would have been stupid to try to copy that, right? But my top 5 maybe would be Hendrix and Brian May and Angus Young, because it was the first guitarist I really saw that made me want to be a guitarist and not a singer who also played the guitar. Jeff Beck must be one of them. Joe Satriani has been great for me because it was the first time that I noticed how there was a whole world of instrumental music that was available to me when I wasn't really into all the shredding all the time thing. And so Joe was a big thing because I thought, wow, look, there's one way of doing it that's song oriented, because I come from all these bands that do songs, right? Queen and Maiden and AC/DC, also the Beatles and Purple, I could keep going forever, Bob Marley, all this stuff, Prince. So it was never about the instrument, it was always about the song. And when I heard, I think the first really serious stuff that I heard by Joe was maybe the Eponymous album. I think I would have been that age, maybe. No, probably earlier, maybe The Extremist. That's when I really got into it. And I thought, well, these are songs. And so, that was something that really woke me up. But Brian May too. So Brian May, the solos were never solos, they were part of the song. So to me, Brian May is one of the best. There is art, your connection is gone. All right, well, you have a good one, and you can watch it later, of course. I'll see you next week. And Carlos, you will look at the Traveler guitar? Yes, have a look at that. They're probably like $300 or something. Okay. So what was your favorite part of this past year? Were you able to do stuff that you wouldn't have been able to do during a regular year? Was it all doom and gloom, or let me know. I'll wait for your comments. And I will tune this guitar while I wait. Sometimes a minor 7th chord is what you need to tune a guitar. Okay, well, if you don't have any more questions, I'm gonna let you go early today because it's such a strange day to make a live video. I also noticed that nobody's doing videos this week. It will be intermittent, but I will join when I can. All right. Yes, that is art. I don't know how long we'll be here, but do you guys want to share anything else about this 2020? Maybe some word of advice for us? Or for anybody who's watching afterwards. I'm sure a lot of people, there's quite a few of you today, but I assume not a lot of you, because I'm sure you have a lot of stuff to do. There's not watching me talking to an iPhone. Hello, Red Walrus. How are you? Merry Christmas, if that's your thing, or Happy Holidays. I don't know. I don't know what is this? Is there a politically correct way of saying it? I don't give a shit. Okay, Jenny. I had tickets to Pakistan. Wow, that trip was canceled. I did make it to the beach in San Diego to jump in the ocean. All right, man, you have sounds like an interesting life, Jenny. San Diego's great. I've been to San Diego once. Beautiful. One of those places you're like, why am I leaving again? Red Warriors, Merry Christmas. Yes, same to you, and Happy New Year to everyone, because I will see you next time. I think it will be the 2nd of January. Is that right? Saturday is the 2nd? Or the 3rd, I'm not sure, but we'll be here, and maybe I'll prepare a little something. I had the whole video today was actually ready for streaming from OBS, and then I got a last minute notice that we were actually traveling today, and so I had to switch it to this format. So I hope nobody's missed it, because they were still hoping for, connecting to the other stream. I did erase it, but still practicing on your book, exercise 37. Glad you mentioned the encyclopedia. Going to take a look. All right. Yes, you probably like it. There's two versions. One is the original one, where they're very short videos, maybe 5 minutes, 2 minutes. They're all separate. but they're all in their own playlists. If you have a look at the link, I mean at the channel, you'll find one of the playlists is the encyclopedia. And then I also posted them a while ago all together. So you have this 11-hour-long videos, and you can watch it that way, you know, whatever you want. I think it will be something cool to do now that you have more time during the holidays. And exercise 37, I should know which one it is by memory, but I'm not, because now I kind of have in my head the Legato Exercise 37 that will be released in the next video. But if you need help, let me know, and I'm sure we can figure it out. But yes, about the book, just the practice slow and clean. You know, in the new book, I'm also doing a lot, not a lot more, because there was quite a bit on the alternate picking one. But I'm giving all these seemingly random bits of advice here and there that probably as you go through the book, like in the first one, it's cumulative, you know. And so I suggest you always do the whole book. You don't have to be a master at the whole book, but go through all the exercises, and then you'll have read all the little intros and the little stupid stuff that I write about. And then you'll go like, okay, now I have the whole picture, and now I can go back and work on the ones I want, or do the whole book again. So that's one way of doing it. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new, I have a book on alternate picking. There's a link down below, and it's great, and you should get it. Red Walrus, I've been improvising in D Dorian, backing tracks a lot lately. Any advice? Okay, and then Jim says you're gonna start exercises in the book this week. All right, yeah. Let me know. Jim, did you have, it was you, right? There was a bit of a problem with sending you the link. I'm sorry about it. And it was shared. I don't know what happened. I think people who don't use Gmail sometimes have a bit of a hard time, but it does usually work. So I'm really sorry about it, Jim. I'm glad you could work it out, or that we could work it out. Great. So Red Walrus, you're improvising in Dorian. My suggestion is, yeah, see? My suggestion is you always focus on the sound of the mode. I don't know what shape my fingers are on after an 8-hour drive, but okay, so if you're in D Dorian and this guitar hasn't been played for a year or 6 months, my suggestion is you always keep in mind 2 notes. Well, all of them, but 2 notes mainly. So the root, okay, so your root, right? And then the note that makes the mode Dorian. So in this case, the 6th, which in E that I'm playing is C sharp. So keep in mind those 2 notes. Now these 2 notes are shared by other scales. As a matter of fact, by a lot of them. It's just a root and a major 6. So the major scale, the Mixolydian scale, the Lydian scale, all these modes have these 2 notes. If I'm in E, right, that's E and C sharp. But now you can start adding the notes that complete the mode. So not that the ones that define it, but the ones that complete it. So the first one will be the minor 3rd. See, now I'm getting the sound of Dorian. I'm really conscious of the root. It's really hard to play with the table here. Okay, so I know what my root is. I know my important note, in the sense that that's the note I'm going to use to establish the mode. Right? And now you complete it. So how you complete it? Well, some notes are really not as strong melodically, such as the 4th and the 5th, because they're shared by so many other scales. So the 4th and the 5th are shared by the major scale, and you know, the Mixolydian and the minor, the Dorian itself, and the 5th almost by all of them except for the Locrian. So those are notes that will not affect really your scale. Right? But when you put the minor 3rd in it, then it really becomes something that your ear isn't expecting, because you have this major 6th, which is the note that makes... Can you hear the guitar? I hope so. Let me know, please. And this is the 6th note, which makes your mode, in this case the Dorian scale is based on the major 6, but this major 6 makes sense as Dorian only against the minor third. So you put it all together, so you get to the bottom of the mode. And now the next thing I would do probably is, let's see if I can do this. I would probably put a chord underneath that is a bit more complex. Right? And then I would put down a mode that is even more specific, such as this. This chord here is the minor 6 chord. And so this chord has the Dorian sound in it because it's a minor chord with the major 6th. Not 100% in tune, but you see what I mean, right? So this chord here is Dorian before you even play a note. So now over this, you can play the Dorian mode more specifically, or you could just play some simpler scale and you know, get the sound of the mode from the chord and use a more what do you call it? A more ambiguous scale over it. In this case, I just played a simple minor pentatonic. All right, so that's a couple ideas you can use. Okay, sounds good, great. Isn't the 6th note in blues called the devil's note? No, that's a flat 5. Thanks, really helpful. Great. All right, cool, Red Walrus. And it sounds very melodic when I play it. Thank you. And yes, I'm not in the best position to play, but you know, melody comes first. So, and thanks for straightening me out. You're welcome, Jenny. What was I going to say about something? Oh yes, the blues note. The blues note is actually the flat 5 or raised 4th. This sound. So if I'm in E again, well, let me play it actually in C, so it's easier. I have a C here, and the blues note is this note. So it's a flat 5. It's a diminished 5th, and it's a very dissonant chord. I love this sound. And it can take different colors. So in Lydian, I'm going to play in E again, right? Now if I play it after a major 3rd, it sounds very bright. But if I play it after a minor 2nd, it sounds very tense. And it's Locrian. And so it's a great note. And of course in the blues, like you say, let me do it again in E. You get this sound. Sorry. Here you go. See, that's the sound. It's a beautiful note because it sounds very dissonant, but as soon as you put it together with other notes, you know, with its own little friends, then it gives you all kinds of different colors. I love that note. Same as the minor 6th, which is the augmented 5th. Great sounding note and very colorful. You know, it changes with the way you play it. There is a blue note, but is there a country note that gives country a unique sound? Well, I don't know, but what I consider the country sound, most of it is the Mixolydian sound, so it's a major pentatonic, so to speak, and then you might add the flat 7, but I'm certainly no expert in country. I just play to have fun, like blah, 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 you know, sometimes, but I'm not an expert, so I don't want to give you wrong advice here, but the country sound is more major, and as a matter of fact, if you play kind of a majory kind of sounding blues, then you get into country territory pretty quickly, all right, so that might help. Check it out, play a little chord progression. Now, major chord progression, but no 7th, right? No dominance, really major. And major pentatonic over this might get you there. And then you can add the other notes, like there's There's a lot of bebop scales that they're 8-note scales. They're added to the regular major modes, and those are interesting, but we won't get into it. But some of them, they can then be deduced new scales from them as country sounding scales. So they have a little chromatic thing, because when you have 7 notes and you add one, it doesn't matter which one you add, you always get a chromatic run, a little chromatic thing. And those are really, sometimes they're really evident in country music. But this is just for me hearing it once in a very long while. So, just by ear, that's what I'm figuring out, but I haven't really studied. So I don't want to give you wrong information. All right. So how you guys doing? I'm sure you have a lot of stuff to do that's more suited to these days here than being there watching on YouTube. Okay, so maybe what we could do is keep it short today, because I know you guys have stuff to do, and I've been able to just lock myself here and do this video, but I might have to go pretty soon. And maybe next week we'll do you guys want to do something like this next week from the studio? Maybe we can talk about 2021 stuff we're gonna do, and new things. Oh, by the way, there's another thing I've been doing this year. I finished the Schoenberg book. I don't want to talk about me all the time, but just today. And the Schoenberg book about composition, really complex, and really it's a heavy book, and it took me a few months to study it properly, writing down all the exercises and playing them. And then I took this out again. This I bought when I was a teenager, because I thought I was going to write orchestra music without even knowing what a violin was. But I thought if I can do it on guitar, I'd play it on. But eventually I brought it out again, because with the piano, then I'm really starting to write stuff that's not probably suited for my regular guitar stuff. But it's opened up so many doors with electronic music, synthesizers, which probably will never mix heavily with my guitar stuff, but it's just something that I can't stop doing. And this is an old book on orchestration, and I have another one by Piston, which is probably better. But I bought this when I was a kid, basically. Maybe I was not even 20, and read all of it and said, okay, what did I read this for? But it teaches you every single book, every single instrument of the orchestra. A lot of them are obsolete now. And it tells you what range they have, and sometimes how they're built. And like Henry VIII imported this instrument from this and that. It's great stuff, and it's pretty humorous as well. And so if you don't know what to do, you're getting bored, you can read Orchestration by Cecil Forsyth. And it has 23 illustrations and 296 music examples. And there's another one by Rimsky-Korsakov, the guy with the Flight of the Bumblebee. And there's a few of them. Piston has one, and Adler has another one that's really well regarded. But this is one that I really enjoyed the humor in it. This is probably from the early 1900s. And it's a different humor, but 1982, I thought it was earlier. Oh no, it's 1935, I think. Maybe even before that. So, it's 1914, see? Kind of like in the Schoenberg range of dates, but yeah. Anyway, let me see. All right, so how about we leave it here, and then we reconvene next week. Thank you very much again throughout this year. A lot of you have been so generous with the channel, and I know it's not easy, because I know, we all have things to take care of, so I really appreciate it. And so thank you very much. Without you, this channel wouldn't be here. And hopefully it will be much bigger next year. All right, have a great one, and sorry about the technical things. I didn't have my whole thing going today with the amps and the stuff you're used to. The camera might not be that great, but I really didn't want to leave you without a video, and I don't want to get lazy with these, so we try to make them every week. And I'll see you next week, January 2nd, I think. But don't hold me to it. If it's the 3rd, come on the 3rd. And next Saturday, 6:30. It's all good. Thanks for showing up. All right. Thank you all for being here. And have a great remaining of the year. A great New Year celebration. Be safe. And I'll see you next week. All right. See you soon, everyone. Now, if I remember how to turn this off. Bye.